Bro, Lincoln Riley just landed another one. It's
Riley train.
I think it's official or it's about to be official, but probably by the time this video is loaded, it's for sure already signed, sealed, delivered. But Jordan Addison is headed to Southern California. He's transferring. Biletnikoff Award winner is transferring to the USC Trojans. Yet another weapon to the arsenal that Lincoln Riley is building over there out west. What do you think, Brandon?
Bro, I think, first off, I love the free transfer rule. AKA, shout out to Jim Harbaugh being the coach that led the way for the free transfer rule. But I love it. I think it's huge. I know we kept saying, like, man, maybe Lincoln Riley was going to take some time to get USC up and running. But looking at the state of the Pac-12 and then looking at some of the weapons that they brought in, and most importantly, we know the most important piece on your college football team is the quarterback. You're bringing back dynamic Caleb Williams as a true sophomore. He's getting full starter reps, has a full college football offseason in front of him. I would not be shocked to see the USC win the Pac-12 this year. Like, I think that's just another weapon. He won the Biletnikoff Award. And, the dude's, I think on the big board for next year, he's looking like to be the first receiver off the board. It's just another weapon that Lincoln Riley gets, that Caleb Williams gets. And, man, it just actually makes me excited, man, because USC, we've been clamoring for parity in college football. This could be the start of the parity that we've been begging for. And with Lincoln Riley, what he's doing at USC, and he's building a fence around Southern California and then bringing in other high-profile talent like we saw back in the day where Pete Carroll could go across the country and say, hey, come out to L.A., come live in Orange County, come play in Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell and every Marky Mark are all on the sideline. It's back, man. And if Lincoln Riley can do that, I think he can out-recruit anybody, or at least he will always be in the conversation. And I think this becomes the parity that college football has been waiting for. So I would expect now with this weapon, who's a game changer on the offensive side of the football, who's going to open up some things for some other players, man, I'm just going to say I expect USC to win the Pac-12 this year easily.
I'm standing by what I said from pretty much the moment Lincoln Riley was hired. I said that USC was the favorite to win the Pac-12. I said they will be in the conversation for a playoff spot in 2022. In fact, I said I believe that USC Notre Dame game at the end of the season could be a playoff implication type game, especially if you look at what Freeman's doing at Notre Dame as well. Now, we got to let Freeman coach a game other than just the interim bowl game. I guess he wasn't the interim for that, but that one bowl game, let him get into the season, see how he does. But there's no reason Lincoln Riley cannot replicate in the Pac-12 what he did in the Big 12 with OU. I'm standing by that. I've stood by that. And all he's done since he's been hired is make moves to further cement that take of mine. With Addison coming to town, he's just another weapon. They've got Mario Williams. They've got the Dye, the running back from Oregon. They've got
Travis
Caleb
Dye.
Williams. Travis Dye. The list goes on. They got the 5-star running back as well. Is it really? Am I about to mess up his name? Raleek Brown. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm going so rapid right now. But he brought in a top recruited running back in this class as well. Number one recruiting transfer class. I think they were like in the hundreds in overall recruiting, and he got them into the top 10. That's where they combine the transfer portal with the recruiting class. You look at his recruiting class heading into next year, the average recruit, they've only got like 3 or 4, but the average recruit is like it's like 5 points higher than what A&M's for this past cycle was.
Came back,
And there's a long way to go, and I know how OU fans and people feel about Riley. Here's the bottom line, because with all of that positive, I've also said this. His success will rise and fall on his ability to build a defense. You mentioned Pete Carroll. What Pete Carroll did right was he built USC's defense. They had some of the best top defenses in the nation. And then obviously they had guys like Reggie Bush who were just running wild, going crazy. I remember Mike Williams, Matt Leinart. Obviously Lyndon
Dwayne
White,
Jarrett.
the 1-2 punch. I'm not taking anything away from how explosive that offense was. But Pete Carroll was a defensive guy. He built that defense, and that's what allowed them to be a dominant force in college football. Now, I want to encourage everybody before we end this video, go to collegegametime.com. That is our website. There is a blog up right now. It's near the top. It's one of the most recent ones we've posted about, will this coaching cycle shift the landscape of college football? And one of the key points of that blog was that Lincoln Riley will reclaim the West, which will help balance the power. There's a couple of other things that are also in play, but everything you just said about him building a fence around Southern California, about him bringing the talent there that hasn't been there since the Pete Carroll era. Not that they haven't had talent, but not like he's infusing it with just a ton of athletes.
Yep.
Now, they missed out on the big old lineman, Connerly Jr., who ended up going to Oregon.
Yep.
Here, the NIL bag got him, Nike, something like that. I don't know the details or anything like that, but he went to Oregon. So he's going to have to figure out how to patchwork that offensive line. But if you look at USC's schedule, I mean, he's got 3 games. He's got Utah, which that's going to be no slouch, even though they did lose a lot. They lost a lot. He's going to have to beat UCLA, which they should beat them, but that's a rivalry game. So I'm not just going to. And then Notre Dame. Okay, they won't play Oregon, or the only time they would play Oregon is in the Pac-12 championship. So the schedule lines up nicely. I'm going to stick by it. I said they don't be shocked if they're 11-0 going into that Notre Dame game with a chance to compete for a CFP spot. But it's once they get into the college football playoff, how their defense is will determine the success once they get there. So
yeah,
I think college football is shifting. I think we need to get some regulations on the NIL. But I think with Cristobal in South Florida, I think with Riley on the West Coast, and then guys like Venables at OU, Venables is going to build that defense.
He's going to be
They're not going to have as explosive of an offense, but you don't have to have that. If you can have just a somewhat explosive offense, and then just a
great defense,
which is
Georgia showed us that
is there to do. Exactly, bingo. So. But Jordan Addison, he's headed out west. I want to go play NCAA 14 right now and try to build this offense and recruiting. Like, I'll say this, the new EA college football video game better have the transfer portal.
It better have the transfer portal. There's no other way around it.